Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are looking at the NBA slate for Wednesday. We have an 11-game slate. It is a jam-packed slate. We got a little taste of NBA action today. I'm making this video right now. It is 9 o'clock East Coast time on Tuesday. The Nets game is about to start the second half. But I want to make the video right now while I have some energy. I don't want to wait till the end of the Lakers game because it's going to be like 1:30. It's just too late to make a video, and I'm just too tired at that point. But I want to make it now while I have some time and I have some energy still left, and I'm looking forward to breaking down this slate. First thing, if you guys play NBA DFS, you got to stay up to date with the news and stuff. So I'll try to keep you guys updated on Twitter. Once the Nets lineup came out with Bruce Brown not starting, I ended up getting off of him. I didn't even see any action in the first half, which is super surprising because he was starting in these situations in place of Kyrie last year. But they went double big with Griffin and Claxton, so ended up swapping off Bruce Brown and Aldridge for Claxton and Grayson Allen. Hopefully that pivot works out well. Still have the second half to go. And then hopefully avoided the Drew Holiday news. That's very unfortunate news because he was playing pretty well, shooting the ball well. But that's NBA DFS for you. You're going to get burned by it. You're going to get helped by it. Today did get helped by it, but I'm more than likely, or same chance to get burned by it next time this happens. But anyway, I wanted to thank you guys for all the support you showed on yesterday's video. We almost got 200 likes, so I really appreciate that. And I'm just going to get right into the picks. If you want to join us, you can visit the website, dfsprocess.net. Follow me on Twitter for updates and stuff like that. I'll try to post some results and stuff after each slate on Twitter in the morning. But anyways, let's get into the video. So point guard plays today. I'll go position by position. You have Damian Lillard. That game is going to be one of the most highest scoring games of the slate. The Kings and the Blazers, two fast-paced teams. Pace is an important factor in NBA DFS. They're scoring off, whereas you have Donovan Mitchell at 96 against against the Thunder at home. That game is not going to be as much of a high-paced game. I'm not going to pay 96 for Donovan Mitchell. Just too high of a price tag for me. I know he can go absolutely nuts when he's hitting all of his shots, but he just doesn't contribute a ton in assists and rebounds compared to some of the other point guards, and he's just too expensive for me. So on this slate, I'm not going to pay 96 for Donovan Mitchell. I'd much rather go down to De'Aaron Fox. He's one of my favorite players in the NBA. If you guys have been watching the videos last year and years past, and then going to watch for this year, I'm going to have De'Aaron Fox in a lot of my cores just because he's so explosive. He can get you double-double easily, he racks up assists, shoots 20-plus times a game. He's known as Swiper the Fox because he's multiple steals, so you're going to get almost every single game. There's so much upside with De'Aaron Fox. I love playing him. I think he's a great option at $9,300. He's probably my favorite option above $9K based on the price tag. I like Fox, then I like Lillard. I don't think I'll go with John Morant, even though the matchup is solid against Cleveland. It's just 91, a little bit on the more expensive side. I know Dylan Brooks is not playing, but the Grizzlies are also a team that do play a lot of their bench, and Cleveland is not a very fast-paced opponent. So this game I don't expect it to be one of the highest scoring ones on the slate. So for that reason, I would probably just pay up $200 to get the De'Aaron Fox. D'Angelo Russell is 85. That price tag is way too expensive for D'Angelo Russell. Now that Cat is there, now that Anthony Edwards is going to make a leap in his second year, I just don't see Russell being able to produce at that sort of price tag. That price tag should come down into the 7Ks pretty soon. Sexton is 83. He's going to have a good year, but I'm not paying 83 for Colin Sexton. He's a scorer. He doesn't contribute much in rebounds, assists, so I'm not going to pay that much for him. Booker is 82 against Denver. That's viable, but we saw last year with Chris Paul there, Booker wasn't as consistent as we would have liked. He had some pretty poor games when his shot wasn't falling because he's not going to get you a lot of assists. He's not going to have the ball in his hands. His usage rate took a hit. So I think on an 11-game slate, we can do a little bit better price-wise and probably production-wise. The 7K range is very strong. You have Kevin Porter Jr. at 78. I love Kevin Porter Jr., but I'm not paying 78 for him. You have LaMelo Ball cheaper than him against the Pacers. I would probably go LaMelo Ball, or definitely go LaMelo Ball over Kevin Porter Jr. I don't think I want to play Chris Paul in his first game. I don't think they're going to push him for 35 minutes in the first game, just with the veteran. And playing in the finals last year, they will probably ease some of their veterans in. So I don't think I'll pass on that price tag on Chris Paul. Garland is 76. I'm just not paying that much for these Cleveland guys. I love Fred VanVleet here. Brogdon should hopefully play. There's no Karis LeVert, so he's going to benefit. But I love Fred VanVleet here. There's no Kyle Lowry. There's also no Pascal Siakam. Absolutely dream matchup against the Wizards in terms of pace. VanVleet should produce. I thought his price tag should be a lot more expensive than this. but 75 for Van Fleet. Without Lowry, you're going to get 30+% usage rate, probably closer to like 35. Plays big minutes. Nick Nurse loves to display these guys a ton of minutes. Hopefully that starts in the first game. But they're just very thin on bodies. With Lowry now a member of the Heat, and then Siakam is out. He's just going to get a lot of usage and a lot of opportunity. He has to be one of the best plays at that price tag. Scrolling down a little bit, see if Rozier is able to play. It's probable, so that is good. If he was out, then LaMelo would be a tough guy not to have. Scrolling down a little bit further, SGA, I'm not going to pay that much for SGA. It's not even that expensive, but the matchup is just very tough against Utah. I just don't think I would like to do that. In the 6K range, a couple of pieces that look somewhat interesting. Kemba, if you're into the revenge spot against his former team, we know he can light it up. Cole Anthony is 67. That is too high of a price tag on this slate. I would go down to Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He looks to benefit without Zion, and he's going to hopefully start in place of Lonzo now going forward for this year and years to come. Low 6K range, you have like Derek White, some upside, but it's always not fun to trust Pop, especially early on when we don't really know how the rotation will shape out. You'd expect White to get good minutes in a rebuilding year for the Spurs, no longer DeRozan, but I would take a little bit of a wait-and-see approach. Then DeJounte Murray, I think we passed on him. He's 68, so both guys are pretty affordable. Probably like the little bit of savings on Derek White over DeJounte Murray. In the 5K range, nothing looks that crazy to me jumping off. I think Barrett is going to have a good year. I wouldn't play him at point guard, though. I'd rather play him at small forward. Point guard is such a important position that you don't want to waste it on a guy that's not actually a point guard. Like, definitely play him at small forward if you wanted to play Barrett. But there's a ton of cheap value plays at point guard that it's just going to be probably looking at like 3 or 4 guys to just plug into your point guard and probably use a guard for a point guard, probably use utility for a point guard right now. Spencer Dinwiddie is $4,900. That price tag is super nice for Dinwiddie, starting in place of, well, now he's going to get a starts going forward for the whole year in place of Russell Westbrook, who's now on the Lakers. And I think he's going to be able to benefit to start playing alongside Bradley Beal, get some of the attention off of him. We know he can knock down some shots. He did get up to like 24 minutes or 26 minutes in the final preseason game. So that is a good sign that hopefully he can play at least that much in the season opener, maybe approach 30. And that price tag is just way too cheap for a Wizards team that is going to rely on Dinwiddie and is going to rely on Bradley Beal to supply a lot of the offense. So right now I love that price tag on Spencer Dinwiddie. And then another guy at point guard that is just way too cheap. At the bottom, you have Tyrese Maxey, who looks like an amazing play because no Ben Simmons. We all know what happened with him. He's going to start, and there's also no Shake Milton, so Tyrese Maxey is just going to get so much opportunity in this one. He should see 30 minutes around that, and he can produce, expecting big things out of Maxey this year. You should get a lot of opportunity until they bring in somebody to get some more minutes at point guard until they figure out Ben Simmons' situation, if they trade him for a point guard, or until Milton comes back. Maxey has the reins at the position. And then you have some other rookies here, like Jalen Suggs is only $4,000. Jalen Green is only $4,200. Those guys are going to get big minutes, especially Green as a member of the Rockets, just rebuilding, and they don't have that many other options. So that's mainly the main guys to look at point guard. Looking over at shooting guard here at the top end, Donovan Mitchell, once again, you can play my point guard or shooting guard. I'm just not going to pay $96 for him. I would probably pass on some of these most expensive guys at the position. The Bulls, Zach LaVine is nicely priced at $87, but you got to keep in mind now they have DeRozan. Now they brought in LaMelo or Lonzo Ball, so there's a lot different of a scenario. They still have Nick Vucevic at center. They just have so many studs that it's going to cut into Zach LaVine's production. So I want to see how that kind of goes before I pay that much for him. I think his price tag will come down as those guys start to eat into his workload. 7K range, don't mind going to Edwards, 71. He gives you upside there. McCollum is fine at 72, but probably a little bit of a better spots we can go to for point per dollar wise. At the bottom here, we're in the 6K range. Derek White is a viable option here. I don't think I want to play Lou Dort at 6,000. I look to play him in a better spot. Maybe once SGA or if they decide to like hold one of those guys out for a game or two later on. But we have some good value at the position in the cheaper than $5,000 range. You have Maledon, 44 if he draws a start at point guard. But you're really going to look at Jalen Green is only $4,200. He's going to be a really nice guy to plug in because him and Kevin Porter Jr. are just going to get so much opportunity. They're going to play big minutes. He was seeing 30-plus minutes in the preseason with ease. Played 32. Wood played 33. Kevin Porter played 33. So those three are just going to get big minutes. And there's a big price difference from Jalen Green to like Christian Wood and to Kevin Porter. We haven't seen him play in the NBA yet, but from the preseason, he looked like he has some upside for fantasy production, contributes in a little bit of everything. And he's going to not afraid to shoot shots. So that's definitely something you want to look to. Moving on to small forward, it's a position that doesn't have a true stud on the slate. You have Jaylen Brown as 81, the most expensive player. I would look to Brandon Ingram against Philly without Zion. He's just going to take a lot of shots. So he looks good at that price tag. Edwards, I don't mind getting to him. They did pay Michael Porter Jr. a ton of money. He's only $6,400. So that is definitely a price tag that you can get to at the position. He looks better than Saddiq Bey. OG Anunoby, he had some pretty big preseason games, and you'd expect him to produce because they just don't have anybody else at the wing to play big minutes until Siakam is back. So you have OG Anunoby, and then you have another rookie that I do like at the position. We'll get to him as we scroll down a little bit further. There is not going to be Cade Cunningham is not making his debut, so Josh Jackson might start, but 55, I think you might just pay up a little bit and get to Jeremy Grant. At the $4,000 range, we have some viable options here. Patrick Williams, $4,200. Lauri Markkanen, $41. He did have some decent games in the preseason for the Cavs. He's going to have some opportunity. He can score the ball, get some rebounds. Good price tag for him. And then in the $3,000 range, Josh Giddey, he was awesome in the preseason. He's fun to watch. Contributes in rebounding, scoring. Going to get big minutes. He's only 38. Some of these rookies are way too cheap for the role that they're going to have. So you want to take advantage of them early on in the year. Like Giddey is definitely one. And then I think Scotty Barnes is another. Who's only $3,400. Dual eligibility here. Going to start most likely. I think he'll start. Even if he doesn't, he should see high 20s, low 30s in minutes. And he was awesome in terms of just getting assists in the preseason. He had a 7-assist game. He had like a 13.9 rebound, 6 assist, 4 stock game here. So with them not having Boucher, them not having Siakam, just a lack of depth, it's just going to make Barnes get a lot of minutes. So I got to like go to him at that sort of price tag at only $3,400. Power forward, Sabonis is a key piece that I really like. No LeVert, so Sabonis should eat in this matchup. Great spot against Charlotte, undersized front court. Sabonis had some monster games last year, and even in the preseason, he had a huge game. So you got to go with Sabonis as my favorite pay up. I think Tatum is fine there. Randall is definitely fine at $8,800, but they brought in Kemba. And they brought in Evan Fournier, so I don't think Randall's going to have to do as much. And hopefully Tibbs doesn't play him 45 minutes in the first game. Jeremy Grant, 65. That price tag is most definitely in play on this slate. Unfortunate news with Marvin Bagley. He's not in the rotation, so that sucks for him. So going down here, we have some more cheap guys if you wanted to go to anybody. Mobley, the rookie from the Cavs, he's only 45. He had a great preseason, stretch the floor and get you a lot of stocks and get you a lot of rebounds. So they'll start him alongside probably Jared Allen and then still start, I don't know how they'll fit in Lauri Markkanen. If they start all three of those guys, definitely a very big lineup they're going to be rolling out. Going all the way down here, it's like Patrick Williams, 42, looks okay at that price tag. But at the position, I'd probably go up to like Sabonis, probably one of my favorite options. At center, Embiid, 10-6. He's going to be able to benefit without Ben Simmons, so he should eat in this matchup. They do have Valanciunas there now, so it's a different spot. Probably a little bit better spot because he was going up against Steven Adams if this was last year. But Valanciunas can hold his own. I wouldn't play Valanciunas because it seems like every center gets into foul trouble against Embiid. But Embiid, Jokic are both definitely the top-end guys. You want to maybe get to one of them. Cat has dominated the Rockets in years past, and I think he's in play today. If you wanted to save some money, Embiid might be the most popular center. But I don't mind going on Towns. Last year, put up 57 in 3 meetings. He's always crushed the Rockets. So keep Karl-Anthony Towns on your radar. I think he looks like a great option. With all the value that we have at other positions, center is going to be one that I pay up for. Probably the cheapest guy I'm looking at stud-wise is Christian Wood at 8,000 just because he can fill it up, not only with the points, but with the rebounds, with some blocks there. And then you have Mo Bamba at 57. He's going to probably back up Wendell Carter. They might start both set guys in when they play some big teams. But Bamba can get it done in limited minutes. He would be like a tournament option. And then you have like Evan Mobley if you wanted to go cheap here. But right now, I'll go back to power forward. And I'm just going to plug in Sabonis. Love that price. The price tag is fine and definitely favorable. People might be scared off to pay that much for him, but he was routinely over 10,000, 10.6 last year. And we saw him put up some triple doubles, had some monster rebounding games. And without LeVert, the first 4 games at least, he's going to be able to eat. So these are the 6 that I got right now. It leaves you with 81 left. So feel free to pay up for some guys. Did not make you guys just punch in or just plug in some scrubs at the bottom. You're able to fit in some studs if you go with these 8 or these 6 to fill out your 8. So that's the first look for this slate. Let's jump over to FanDuel. All right, so over on FanDuel, starting off at point guard, going through the position pretty quickly. Fred VanVleet is way more expensive than he is on DraftKings, so he looks a lot better on DraftKings than he does on FanDuel. I would probably go like De'Aaron Fox over VanVleet on FanDuel, probably go John Morant over VanVleet, John Morant looks better compared to $9,100, but Fox would probably be my favorite at that price tag, given some of the other guys around him. LaMelo Ball, 76 in play. Russell is 75 compared to 85. It looks better, but I don't think I'll play Russell in this first game. Dinwiddie is 65 compared to 49, so I don't think I'll play Dinwiddie on FanDuel at least. Kemba, same price tag. You have some other pay-ups that look better, and then you have some cheap guys here, like 56 for Derek White looks fine. Green, he's 55. I think he's playable, but he's way better of a value on DraftKings. Cole Anthony looks way better on FanDuel than he does on DraftKings. He's only 5,000. And then all the way at the bottom, you have Tyrese Maxey at 46. He's probably the first guy I plug in. I know he's going to get big minutes just without Simmons and without Shake Milton. He can produce as well. At shooting guard, you have Bradley Beal at 94. He's fine. You can play VanVleet at shooting guard. There's some better point guard options, but shooting guard, he's probably one of the top 3 at the position in terms of overall fantasy points and production, or at least on this slate. Some guys that are a little bit more cost-effective here. Brogdon is 73. He's going to be able to benefit without LeVert. OG is 74. He's a little bit too expensive for me. I do not think I'll pay that much for him. We have some other good value here with like RJ Barrett is viable, given his price tag. No Dylan Brooks, so that's going to benefit like DeAnthony Melton, some of those other bench guys. Jalen Green is fine at the position. But in the 4K range, or low 5K, 4K range, Dort is only 5,000. Cole Anthony is 5,000. He looks like a guy you could plug in. You're getting a point guard that you're playing at shooting guard, so that's always valuable for like the assists. And usually point guards are able to produce more. They have the ball in their hands a little bit more. And then all the way at the bottom, I think Josh Giddey is super cheap. If you wanted to take a shot with him, see his price tag. He's 44. Which is pretty fine on FanDuel compared to the other guys that are cheap like that. But for now, I'll just plug in VanVleet. Seems like he has the best shot to produce given just right now the circumstances that he's dealing with injuries and just with some lack of bodies there. Small forward, Tatum is 10-2. That's a little bit too expensive for me. I'd save 2,000, 1,800, go down to Brandon Ingram, save 22 and go down to his teammate Jaylen Brown. Tobias going to benefit pretty immensely without Ben Simmons. He has produced nicely in years past without Ben Simmons, getting you good rebounds. He's going to be able to shoot more, have some more usage. Definitely like Tobias on this slate on FanDuel. Kevin Porter Jr. is only 61. I wouldn't play him at point guard. I'd play him at small forward. I don't like him a lot on DraftKings given the price tag, but on FanDuel, I will most definitely have him or have some shares with him. It's a great matchup against Minnesota in terms of being an overall fast-paced game, and Kevin Porter is going to be able to shoot a ton. He's going to have the ball in his hands to be able to facilitate, get some rebounds, just a little bit of everything. Scotty Barnes, 52. He looks way better on DraftKings given his price tag, but he's still viable because I do like him. I think he can fill it up in all areas of the stat sheet. And then all the way at the bottom, like Kuzma has a new look. He's on the Wizards now, if you didn't know that. He's only 47. But those are the main pieces. Maybe Terrence Ross if he starts, but They're probably in a rebuilding stage there. Don't know if they'll play roster. They'll probably trade him before the end of the year. Power forward, Tatum, Sabonis, Randall at the top end. I will go with Sabonis again. Like him on both sides. He's expensive, but there's enough value to make it work. Christian Wood is also a guy that I really like at $8,200. I like Tobias there compared to Grant and Jaren Jackson. I like Grant more on DraftKings there. Michael Porter looks fine. Scrolling down further in the low 5K range here. Yeah, Mo Bamba, if you want to take a shot in tournaments, 53 can get you a bunch of blocks and rebounds and some putbacks there. You can even shoot the three. But that's the main pieces. Evan Mobley is 48. Also a guy that you could look to if you wanted some value. Moving on to center, you have Jokic, 11.4. Embiid is 11,000. Cat is 10.8. And then Sabonis is 97. And then Christian Wood is only 82. If you want to save some money, you can go with Christian Wood here at center. I think he looks great. Compared to on DraftKings, you have a little bit of a difference between the price tags. Like Embiid and Towns are pretty much the same price tag on FanDuel, whereas on DraftKings, Towns is way cheaper. So I think, or you could place a bonus at center. Doesn't really matter. But right now, maybe to give you guys a little bit of extra money to pay up for some other spots, if we go Christian Wood here, he did have a solid preseason. He struggled from the free throw line, but he finished with 19, 1 assist. He's a guy that they're going to give big minutes to, whereas Embiid, we all know he's always has an injury history. They could ease him in the first couple of games at least. Probably wouldn't play like 35 right out of the gate. And then whereas Towns is a nice pivot on DraftKings, he's like 10.8 on FanDuel, so he's a pretty expensive. Might just go down to Christian Wood and call it a day. Other guys that are in play, I would say, is Vucevic. But I want to see how he plays with not only he's going to have to play with Zach LaVine this year, but Lonzo and then DeRozan, they're going to take away some production there. He's not going to have as much usage as he did with the Magic and when he was with the Bulls for times last year. Rashawn Holmes should benefit here. He's only 65, and there is no Bagley, so he's going to get pretty good production and get opportunities to produce. And that's it. You could all the way go down all the way to Mobley or Precious Achiuwa, maybe at power forward as a value. But I feel pretty good about these 5. So that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Best of luck. If you enjoyed, hit the like button. See if we can get 200 likes. Really appreciate all the support. And I'll see you all next time.